So in our marriages, our closest relationships, we look for security, right? We want to know that our spouse is our main person, our main support, and that we're his. Well, my next guest says there are 4 things every relationship needs, and when those glues are present in a marriage, they create that sense of security and support that we long for. Studio 5 relationship contributor Dr. Matt Townsend is here to share what those things are. Great to see you.
Good to be here, Brooklyn.
You say the foundation of a happy marriage is what?
Mutuality.
Mutuality.
And that's just a big word that means shared, right? So have you ever had a child do something and then they look at you to come do it with them?
Yeah.
They want you to do it with them.
Yeah.
That doing it with someone is called mutuality, and humans crave it. And when we have mutuality in certain ways, it becomes the glue that takes all the bricks of our life and our relationship and it glues them all together. It's the sharedness. Like if you went to the Grand Canyon alone, that'd be neat. And then if you went to the next event alone, that would be interesting. But eventually you want it shared. You want a witness to co-witness your life. And so we crave mutuality, and there's 4 types of mutuality that are very available to all of us.
Okay.
And if we work on that, the glue,
yeah,
a lot of stuff sticks better.
Well said. First of all, it's kind of a cool word that we don't hear ever. I mean, we don't say it, we don't talk about it, so I'm glad that we are. Secondly, it's kind of, what's the word I want to reach for? I mean, it's really fascinating that we are wired for it.
Yeah.
Like you say we crave it. That to me means that it's in us.
Right. In fact, people would die if we didn't have other connections, right? Yeah. So even the child still needs to be held and bonded and feel these 4 mutualities while they're growing up and developing. So if they're absent, we die. We slowly start to suffer and die. And some people don't know how to get to this point. And some people have just had a hard enough life that they can't even foster some of these because they don't trust, or they don't care to understand because nobody understands them. So as we get into them, try to just see in your relationship, is it there? And then we'll give you some tools.
The first one, what binds the relationship is mutual trust.
Mutual trust. So if you want a relationship to work, we have to trust each other in the relationship. For relationships to grow, they demand risk, they demand commitment, they demand vulnerability. And the more risk, commitment, and vulnerability you can make together, the deeper the relationship can grow. But if we don't trust, if we don't have the glue of trust, which is kind of your character in the relationship, will you do what you say you're going to do? And competency, do you know how to deliver? Then if you have those, then all of a sudden we can go deeper and deeper and deeper. And many of us in this world just have had our trust broken young, so we never trust it again unless we start to go back and allow people in that are safe to trust.
And I hear you saying trust is one of those things that does take time.
Yeah. It does take time, and sometimes it's given, and sometimes it's earned, right? So when we're first in love with somebody, we don't have to earn trust. We just have it because we're amazing and I feel it. Then it hits the fan, and then all of a sudden trust is gone. And so if trust doesn't ever have to be all the way gone. And then, by the way, there's another trust that's important. In this whole process, you have to trust your own self. Your own ability to protect yourself. Just because you were harmed at 8 doesn't mean at 90 I can't protect myself, or at 70 I can't protect myself. So you have to trust yourself and you have to trust others. And once it's shared, now you've got a foundation that can grow to the next level.
The next glue or the next type of mutuality is mutual understanding.
So once we trust each other, now we can actually communicate at a little deeper level. Now, instead of me having to always protect my point of view and argue and debate you, now I can get curious. And I can step into what you're saying and try to understand you from your frame of reference instead of always pushing my agenda. So in a healthy relationship, once we have some mutual trust, we go deeper in our understanding. I can suspend my need to have it my way and take a step into you and start experiencing your experience, your life, your understanding, your way.
Which sort of feels like an ultimate desire of human growth. Like the human experience is to get us to that point, one to another. Mutual benefit. Once
I understand kind of who you are, where you came from, how you think, now I'm going to seek your benefit. I'm going to make sure that I don't just get to go hunting. I'm going to make sure that it's good for you. I'm going to make sure that you're not just abandoned and left. I'm going to make sure if you want to come, you come. If you don't, I will figure out how to make it a good, mutually beneficial thing. This is where we start to think about interdependence. Now, instead of we go to your favorite restaurant one week, then my favorite restaurant one week, and your favorite restaurant, maybe we start talking and understanding why we like the restaurants, and then we seek something that's new and ours, maybe new restaurants. Maybe new ways of doing things that make it so I will never try to win without you winning. I will be an advocate for your win in our marriage.
I will never try to win without you winning. I love that so much.
It's got to be that way, right?
Yeah.
Long term. And then now we're sharing mutual trust, mutual understanding, and mutual benefit.
All right, finally, mutual growth.
What would happen if all of a sudden each and every one of us in our relationships had this commitment to perpetually grow, to perpetually develop? Then it wouldn't be that I'm trying to make you grow. You want to grow anyway. And I think most of us would stay in almost any relationship if it was growing, if the person was improving, if they were learning, if they were developing. So to have mutual growth means we're both changing, we're both curious, we're both committed to it, and we're actually willing to actually be open and humble enough to ask, what could I do better? What really could I do better in our relationship? And when we see our partner succeeding and growing in something, we cheer and we become their biggest advocate.
I love this.
Right?
I love this.
Mutuality. And those glues start to tie everything together, and then it's not about the little pieces of life. It's really about the glue that goes all the way through life.
Well said, Matt. Thank you so much.
Huh?
We'll post this conversation on our website. I don't know if you have a partner you might want to review it with. Just a suggestion.
It's a great idea.
And speaking of that investment in your relationship, you have a date night coming up. And we are so excited for the Valentine's date night on February 11th. You got to get your tickets. We often, I mean, this is such a fun night.
Yeah.
But
it's
when else during the year are we investing in our relationships in a way that you'll walk away and the benefit will be huge?
And we're calling it the 2-hour marriage makeover. So we're going to give you tools to stop a spiral that kind of tends to suck us down in the relationship. And I'm going to introduce you to the number one thing that's been impacting my marriage lately negatively. Okay. Her name is Jandis.
Uh-oh.
And she's a body pillow that my wife bought me. So we're going to talk a lot about Jandis that night.
There's 3 in the bed, Jandis?
Yeah, just the 3 of us.
Getting in the way, getting in the way.
Just the 3 of us.
I love that idea of a 2-hour relationship makeover.
Yeah.
It's like boot camp.
We're going to give you a place where you can get an assessment, figure out what you need to work on, and then 6 specific things to just work on.
MattTownsend.com.
Yeah.
Get your tickets.
February 11th.
He only does this twice a year. I mean, I know there's please do it more.
It's exhausting.
Yeah, it is. It is a lot, but take advantage of this opportunity to learn from the best, and we'll link you to his website for tickets from ours as well. Thank you so much.